At nightfall, Jesus returned to Lazarus' house, and there, in the company of his intimate circle and the family of the resurrected man, he replenished his strength, showing himself to be in excellent spirits. The men took their seats around the large rectangular table in the dining room, and the women, directed by Martha, began to serve. Before starting the late dinner, the master and the 14 or 15 people sharing the food stood up, intoning a brief chant. When it was over, Martha, in one of her hurried comings and goings, explained to me that the hymn titled "Hear, O Israel" was actually a prayer. It surprised me to see how the rabbi, despite his public and sharp differences with the doctors of the law, respected the old customs of his people. Throughout the afternoon, the master had displayed a contagious sense of humor, laughing and making jokes about anything. That was to be at least in the days preceding Thursday, April 6th. Another of the aspects of him that surprised me: how far he was from that grave, tormented, and distant image that is usually deduced of him. Jesus of Nazareth was a mixture of a child and a general, of a naive shepherd and a thorough analyst, of a man living for the day and a prudent counselor. But above all, one could see he was happy, much more cheerful and carefree than his own disciples and friends, visibly shaken by the threats of the high priest. Little by little, however, the cheerful and casual tone of that meal began to wane. It was obvious that they were seriously worried about the direction their master's next steps would take, steps of which they, without a doubt, were totally unaware. It didn't take long for the subject to arise. The arrest warrant for Jesus issued by the high priest, and the measures that should be adopted to safeguard the security of the rabbi and of the rest of the group as well. One of the most fiery and radical was a disciple. His round head stood out on a thick neck. That man, with a face riddled with wrinkles, was not in favor of the entry into Jerusalem. He feared logically for the rabbi's life and tried by all means within his reach to convince the group of the danger of such an endeavor. Their discussion, he let one after another speak without uttering a word, until at a heated moment in the controversy, the master let his deep voice be heard, and addressing the blue-eyed apostle, he declared,
"Peter, have you still not understood that no prophet is welcomed in his own land, and no physician heals those who know him?"
Then, fixing those hawk eyes on mine, he added,
"If the flesh came into being because of the Spirit, it is a wonder. But if the Spirit came into being because of the body, it is the wonder of wonders. Yet I marvel at this. How has such great wealth come to dwell in such poverty?"
A heavy silence hung in the room, and the master, rising, retired to rest.